get into it. This is my adorable friend, serial entrepreneur, Tracy Lanier, and I'm going to let her tell you a little bit about her businesses. I know you got a few of them, so let's tell me about your prize. You know, what's the crown jewel? Tell me about that first. And
I'll tell you about the first one.
Mhm.
That's Micah Stevens, Fashion Worldwide. That's like, that's my baby. So I
Okay.
have a couple things under that one. Actually, I don't know how to, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like my fashion empire. We do several things under Micah Stevens. The first one is the lingerie company, lingerie and sexy apparel. It's the Divas Treasure Chest. It's one of the brands under Micah Stevens. I also do fashion events. We have Micah Stevens Fashion Week, and we have Kadazzle, which is a kids fashion show. And I also have denim and t-shirt line, and I'm coming out with Tui, which would be my lingerie and sexy apparel.
Ooh.
That's it in a nutshell. But we also have Slay Factory, which is a way for models to develop their talent and start to get branded. Well, actually, the Slayer Academy works with the branding and stuff like that. So we'll be doing an online school as well as some live workshops for that.
And how is far as your online schools and stuff? Is that in the near future, or is that something you'll be rolling out?
I'm looking for June or July.
Okay, awesome. So how did you get? What motivated you as a kid? Were you always, wrapped in fashion? Was that just one of your passions?
Well, let's see. As a kid, my mind changed the way it does now. I started out wanting to be a doctor. And I think that's more because my dad, my mom, and my aunt was grooming me to be that. I liked science. I liked finding out things, but I didn't like having to basically give up, my time to do just what they do, all day, every day. I discovered that like too late that I didn't want to do that. I was already at Kent State and doing classes and whatever, but I had given birth to my son, Stephen. And while I was there, it was like, as long as I was there, the doctor was there. It was like if I stayed there 12 hours a day, he was there more, hours. And then when I came back, the next day he was there. And I'm like, well, you have kids and, you get to know them, you talk to them, but they were missing everything that their kids did. And I realized, well, it's only so much you can do there. And I wanted to be able to think out the box and kind of do things the way I wanted to do things. And, you really can't do that with medicine. So I just, I was working at the bank at the time too, being a mama and going to school too. I didn't follow the steps that the parents tell you to follow. So I was hard-headed.
Right.
So then I liked shopping. I really liked to shop. And I started doing an at-home business, Bazaar Express, at the urging of my sister-in-law. May she rest in peace, Sharon Cheeks. Lanier, she was my sister-in-law. And she, showed me the world of wholesale, buying. And I just was like in awe because I could get more, I could get even more than when I bought stuff. I'm a shopaholic. So from there, I started doing like purses, clothes, you name it, I did it out the house. So I was the place that you stopped when you were on your way to the club but didn't have anything to wear. You would stop at my house, get dressed, and go on to the club. So it went from there. And then, the lingerie, I had been introduced to lingerie basically around 14, 15 by my mom. She gave me these cute little tap pants and a camisole, and it had all these little lace things on it. It was really cute, really age appropriate. And she told me she was giving that to me because women, we need to look pretty all the time. And so I fell in love with that then because it felt nice on my skin and everything. And I thought I was like the stuff wearing it when I went to bed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I always did like my undergarments to match my outfits. That's just been a thing, you know. So I'm one of those that aren't. But it went from there. And as things progressed, as you got deeper into it and you want to build a brand, you knew that you have to do different things. So everything just kind of went, you know. And I was supposed to just open a boutique and that would be it. But my next stop was the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. So I went to that online so that I could make sure that I opened a boutique that didn't sell chips, cell phones, clothes, and gas.
Gotcha.
I went there. And from there, it was just like, okay, I could do this, I could do that, whatever. So I just took everything I liked to do. I like to do events. So I just took everything I like to do and put it together. And, you know, my love of science is what drove me to start managing and branding models, because I did that with music anyway. But I say love of science, but it's the cause and effect. If I do this, then it does this. So if I put this energy into this artist or this model, then this is what happens. So that's how all that came about.
So did you ever see yourself being pulled in different directions? Like, how long have you been really getting your, you mentioned the music, and I know you like a partner or something, like with the, was it like Media Center?
Yeah, the Media Center.
Okay. So how do you focus on, you know, going from your fashion focus to the media, and then you also got something else like Swank? Is it Swank Entertainment?
Swank is with everything kind of intertwined. So
okay.
Swank One Entertainment, it's the entertainment. So it goes with the Media Center. However, the Media Center, you know, we basically are not operating that right now. Okay. So we're all doing different things, but we're still in our focus is the music. Well, at least two of us are. Our one partner, he was murdered, so he left.
Wow.
Thank you. He was a major part of it. But after we moved from the building on Case Avenue, we basically started doing different things.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know, share some insight on terms of like for the early stage entrepreneurs, because you seem like at a very young age you had a solid mindset. Like, how important do you think that is for people? So many people seem to be afraid, like, of making that transition from the cozy 9 to 5, or and sometimes even if you're just under resourced, right? You don't really have the resources. How were you able to get that mindset of, you know what, I don't want to be spending 12, 14, 15-hour days, you know, even at a high paying job. I want to be able to spend this time with my kid, you know, with my son, with my children and family. So how did you get that mindset to say, like, it can be done as a mom and so on and so forth?
Yeah, I dabbled. I'm going to say I dabbled for a long time, because I actually started with the fashion in 94, about 94.
Okay.
And it was just like a hobby, something I did. You know, I did the home parties and all of that. But working my job, I kept looking at opening up the envelope, and it didn't change. You know, I was on salary and it didn't change. It just didn't. I had actually I stayed at the bank. I'm just gonna call it the bank. Because, you know, it was comfortable. And I was paying my bills because I had the side hustle of fashion. So I was cool with that. Then I started doing business with Schoolhouse Productions. And that's how the music came about, because Latif let me like manage the acts that would book to be in the show. And from doing that, I had artists saying, do you manage? You manage? I kept saying, no, I don't manage. And I had met through the dealings with Latif, one of the a group, their manager. We became friends or whatever. And I was like, well, you know, they want me to manage. I don't know anything about that. He said, get a book. So I said, okay. And it went from there. And I think after that, I ran more books than he had. So he was actually throwing me people, because, you know, we were partners for a minute too. So it's just a matter of you becoming tired of being complacent in what's going on with you. And you can't accept or settle for, okay, I'm gonna make $29,600 a year, but these people are working me 5 days and they can work me however many hours because I'm on salary. It came to a point that one day I was sitting at the desk and I need to go to the bathroom. And there was nobody to relieve me, so I could go to the bathroom.
Wow.
I sat there and I was
you couldn't
like,
even relieve yourself because nobody was there to relieve you. Wow.
yeah. So I went, I just got up and went, and I called her. I said, okay, you were supposed to send somebody down here. I called my supervisor for lunch, supposed to send somebody to the branch to relieve me, and you didn't. I can't do that. So I went home and I thought about it and I thought about it. And I was like, something, it's time to go. So I took a job paying commission. And then that job, that company, they wasn't right. So I went to another company who was even more not right, but I made a lot of money. So after that, I started helping my mom. But all along, I'm just like, okay, I got to get my businesses out there. And I just started plotting out, okay, it's 8 o'clock. I'm going to get up at 8. I'm going to start working at 9. But from 9 to 12, I'm going to work on Swank 1. Okay, from 12:30 to 2:30, I'm gonna work on Micah Stevens. From 2:30 to 5:30, I'm gonna hit this other one. So just like you would go to 2 different jobs, I just scheduled myself out to transition into each business like I was going to another job. So with that, you work 7 days a week if you want to, but if it's something that you like, you would do it. And me, I'll lose everything to get everything that I want. So I lose everything I have to get everything I want, which means if I'm trying to do better, what I'm holding on to is not worth holding on to if it's keeping me from getting what I want.
That's powerful right there. I'll lose everything for everything. That right there, because you definitely exhibited mad resilience, going from one bad situation, then into another unfavorable situation. What do you got to tell people that, because, a lot of times I think one of the most repairable things we have is our ego, right?
Yeah.
But for some people, they don't heal from that. How are you able to just go from this and just keep falling forward regardless of what life throws at you?
They like to fake the funk. So they like to say, oh, I'm in business, everything is all gravy. That mess is not true. It is not gravy when you first start out. And you have people getting envious of you and everything because they think that you're doing all well. In reality, you're not. I have people that will count how many people are in the seats at a show. Oh, she making some money. Or like with my mom's daycare, oh, they making some money. They got a lot of kids. Everybody counts the income, but they don't count the out.
Count the overhead.
Yeah, and it's never what you make, it's what you keep. If you can't keep it, it don't count. That part, no. Okay, yes, I've made 6 figures, but did I keep 6? No, not yet. So it's just, to me, people, they give up too easy. And if it's not easy, they don't want to do it, and that don't work. So if you start a business on Sunday and it don't work by Tuesday, Wednesday, you quit because it didn't work, so me, I'm just hard-headed. And if something comes and that's a stumbling block, I find another way to get around it. And I just keep going and going. And the other is just kind of make goals for where you want the business to be. Okay, in 6 months, I want to be doing this. In 7 months, I want to be doing that. And that way you don't fail because you don't have everything all chunked up in one chunk. And then you can't get to that. So now you feel like you fail. But no, in business, you don't fail unless you just prematurely close the door.
Nice. I like that. I want to really segue. You mentioned something about it's not what you make, it's what you keep. You got some insight on some stuff that you've learned over the way about keeping that, whether it's taxes, any ways, tax savings, any different things that basically the Tracy just sitting here right now, what would you tell yourself, X amount of years ago to kind of keep more of that? What have you learned to, to be able to keep more, to keep the cost down or whatever?
it's, let's see. Actually, I don't know what I would tell you, young Tracy, because Tracy is hard-headed, and young Tracy probably wasn't gonna listen either.
Okay.
So I would just say, don't worry about what other people think or what their perception of your success is supposed to be, because you have to arrive at your success the way you're going to arrive at it on your own terms, and you define your own success. Success for one person might be buying a house. Success for another person is buying a building. Okay, I do not own my own home right now. I own a commercial property. So I own what generates me income. That's backwards for some people. Why do you want to own a building when you don't own a house? Well, hell, if I get put out of the house I'm renting, I can still live in my building if that's what I want. But what I looked at was,
that's smart.
The building that my mom has a daycare in, the previous owner was getting $42,000 a year for rent. Okay, so I went to him, I asked him, could we buy the building? He said no, he had promised it to somebody else.
Okay.
So he passed away, and the entity that he gave it to, they didn't want it. So they said, you want the building? Yeah, we want the building. So what we did was I went and acquired a loan. I do commercial mortgages too. And I put it, well, the first thing we did was we put it on a land contract so I could get the price down so I wouldn't have to come in with a down payment. And then when I went to the lender, I had them $3,000 down, and we had a 2-year mortgage instead of 30. So we bought a $150,000 building in basically 4 years instead of.
Wow.
So it's just how you play with what you got, how you manage the money, what you got, and whatever, because they were going to give us an interest-only loan, paying $800. But if the rent had already been $3,400 or something like that a month, just pay that. Some people would have been like, no, I'm going to take my time. No, you want to get out of there as fast as you can, because anything can happen, then, you lose your building. So for me, I want to acquire wealth that way. I like commercial properties. As opposed to buying and renting houses to people. That's just me. But if I were to tell little Tracy, I'd just tell little Tracy, write that plan down, go with the plan. When you start off, this is probably wrong because, we were taught do one thing at a time. Don't do one thing at a time. That's what I would tell, knowing me. Now, somebody else, one thing. Try to have a backup, because things happen. So you do 1.5 or one to back up. I would also say learn to delegate, because I do have a problem with that. I struggle with that still, even though, I have staff and stuff like that. So learn to delegate and go with your first mind, like your mom always say. Don't look at a deterrent as a no, because, the first thing could be a deterrent. Okay, your car break down. Oh, I can't go to work, so I'm gonna quit. So and the other one is to recognize that everybody does not think like you. It doesn't make them stupid. It just means y'all wired differently. And I had to take a class for that. I had to do emotional intelligence because I had a problem with that. I was like, oh, they so stupid. Hey.
Right.
So it's not that they're stupid. It's just people arrive at things differently than the next one.
Yeah, because we the sum of our experiences and our supporting cast, right? So definitely. Sometimes, we're definitely wired highly different. So can you give me some insight on why? Maybe it's just because of your background with the banking and stuff like that. Why were you more attracted to commercial loans? Can you kind of provide some insight on what's the benefits of that commercial versus going into, because that's what a lot of people talk about, right? Renting out properties or flipping them and stuff. Why, what's the mindset behind that? So we can kind of get into your head a little bit.
Mindset. Why I would want to buy them?
Yeah, why you chose to pursue the commercial route versus, you know, just getting some residential? Is it any particular
Commercial loans
thing?
are less headache. They're less headache. Unless it's something major, the landlord doesn't pay anything. You know, you do those triple net leases and you're basically responsible for, well, the tenant's basically responsible for the bulk of what goes on with that building, you know, unless it's like wiring, the roof, something major, but it's less of a headache. And people tend to want their business to run. So they will pay, you know, their rent there. And when I looked at it, I was like $42,000 a year paid in rent. People make that as a salary, you know. So I was like, okay, I need about maybe five buildings or so, you know. So got the first one, I'm gonna work on the second one, but it's so easy with a commercial building. And nobody's gonna tear up a commercial building. Well, I shouldn't say nobody, most people wouldn't. But with houses, you have to worry about so much, you know. Not trying to deter anybody from getting them, but are they messing your house up? Are they the right people? Are they disturbing neighbors so the police is getting caught and you're getting a fine? There's just so much that goes on. I mean, people will behave better in their business if they do in their home. So I don't know. It's just the dollar amount too. That was crazy to me. You're not gonna make from one place, from one house.
Right.
You're not gonna make $32,000 in a year. You know, one house.
That's
No.
real good insight. That's some real good jewels you drop in there. So what would you like if somebody's interested in looking into acquiring commercial property? What direction would you point them in? Where would you tell them to start? Like, because I'm sure a lot of people are like, I can't get no commercial building. You know what I mean? You know, if somebody's thinking about real estate versus, hey, because you made some good points.
They could call me. I can consult with them on how to, you know, go about purchasing. You know, I have connections and lending sources that'll be willing to work with them. You know, because you know, doing commercial finance, my specialty was dealing with people with banged up credit or they needed a deal done fast. The interest rates were not pretty, and they still aren't pretty for people with less than perfect credit, or it doesn't even have to be credit. It's people with a deal that is less than normal. Because if it's not the cookie cutter deal, okay, you're going to get a higher interest rate. And the thing is, the person has to be willing to not look at an interest rate, but look at how fast you pay it down. Because if I give you $100 at 16%, now I'm not even gonna say 16 because that's real scary. I'm gonna say 9%.
Okay.
For 2 years, it's still gonna be less than what you're gonna pay if I give you $100 at 5% over 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be able to basically be a little uncomfortable with playing with those interest rates, because everybody come in, they want a 6%. I'm like, okay, 6% on what? You know, everybody wants 6%, knowing that the credit banged up, their situation is banged up, no net worth, or this building is leaning to the side full of asbestos or something. You know, it's not a good deal. But everybody wants to come into a bank, you know, dictate, no, they gonna give me this or I'm leaving. You can't tell the bank what to do with their money. I mean, you're asking for it. So how are you gonna go in there and tell them they're gonna give you the money on your terms? That's not how it works.
Gotcha. Now go ahead and, because it's a good segue to leave your information so that people can, you know, do your different platforms, email address, stuff like that, so that people can.
Your best bet is basically find me on Facebook, Tracy, Tracy, middle initial D, Lanier, because depending on what you're looking for me for, you're gonna either hit a couple pages or just message me through Facebook or on my general email, micah.stevens, Micah Stevens @yahoo.com. Because like I said, depending on what you're looking for, you'll hit a different page. If you're like into music and you're launching a label, or you are entrepreneur needing to be branded, something like that, you will see me on Swank One Entertainment on Facebook. If you're a model or designer, you will see me on Micah Stevens Fashion World. You want to buy lingerie, you will see Diva's Treasure Chest. And if you're somebody that wants help with your business, you need a business consultant, and you need to know how things work within the business realm, you will see me on solutionsforstatus.com. .net, I'm sorry, or Status Elevation Solutions on Facebook.
See, look at you.
Yeah, I had that wrote down. So I was like,
yeah, that's amazing. So I just kind of want to pull some of that apart, because you got a lot of different platforms. Do you find, I call it networking media. Most people call it social media. But as far as your social media, is there any platform that serves your business better than others? And if so, how so?
I would say Facebook. I have to learn to use the other ones a little more efficiently, but Facebook has been good to me. I use Facebook ads quite a bit. So with that, Facebook, I don't have a problem with, excuse me, but especially since it's integrated with Instagram now. So you get the ads on both. Once you learn how to maneuver a Facebook ad, it does pretty well for you. So you just have to know how to maneuver it and target. It'll go all right.
Can you give me like a little example of, like, an ad campaign on Facebook, like kind of like, okay, you use it, okay, so you learn how to use it, like kind of like a dollar amount. Hey, if I use, if I have an ad for $500 a month, like what's the return on investment on average, or does it work like that? With your experience, how has that panned out for you?
A lot of people like to pay per click, and I've seen people do maybe $2,000 on an ad campaign, but they're doing the pay per click. And that's great for the higher ticket items. Those people are launching products, and those products are thousands of dollars, so they can afford to do that. I usually run my campaigns based on impressions. That means you see it. That's been effective for me. I've had an event where I didn't pass out any flyers whatsoever. It was fully a Facebook ad, and it went ham. It was for a mail review. And that, when I ran that campaign, that was like my best attended event. It was just something with that. I targeted, I went through who I wanted, the age, the area, what interests they have, what type of pages they liked on Facebook, backgrounds, whatever. And it'll tell you if you have a broad audience or if you really defined it to be specific. So I will go back in and look at what the insights said. So if it says that, okay, age 24 to 30, they're not responding, but 33 to 53, they're going crazy. They're responding.
Okay.
So I would take off I would take the thing off of the ones that weren't, so that money would go back and target the other ones. So you have to pay close attention to it. It's a lot to it. It's like a little science. And Facebook has this thing called Facebook Blueprint, and it actually shows you how to use Facebook. And it's like a series of classes, Facebook and Instagram. So I use that too. I go through there, and it's just really helpful. It's helpful. So I like them. They have a way of actually, when you get stuff perfect on Facebook, they change the algorithm. Because I've had ads that I outperformed my paid ad. Organically, it outperformed just because I hit the right person first, and then they started sharing it. So once I seen that organically it was doing it, I turned off the ad. So sometimes you luck up like that too. And I still heard that I'm paying too much for ads, because I got down to like 3 cents an ad, and they was like, nah, you should be down to like a penny. It's like, okay, so I'm not that good yet, but I got down to 3 cents per person.
Okay. So how do you offset that? Like when you say they change up the algorithm, because I've heard of other entrepreneurs talking about, different things, whether it's YouTube, whether it's different, they change these algorithms. And if, at first, if that's your cash cow or, a major slice of it, that can really affect your business. So how do you offset that?
Well, Facebook wants you to pay more money, but I'm like, nah, don't do that. If you don't have to, you have to find a way for it to organically go. So if I have something and I tag you, all right, then you go tag somebody. You kind of try to tag the most popular person in your list, because now people are going to be seeing that. And it still, Facebook counts it, okay, it shows your business page how many people have seen this particular thing, if they responded or whatever. Even if you just say, tag a person wearing blue, and everybody start tagging people, it's going to kick it up and make it keep going. The other thing that helps is if you have a video in your ad now, because they'll give more looks to a video. First it was a photo, then it changed to video. So, you just have to try to keep abreast of what they're doing, because as soon as they see that you're getting over, Facebook's going to change the algorithm again. Now they want you to be more social. First it was, we won't show your business stuff, but we'll show the stuff of you kissing your cat, because people like warm and fuzzy, they don't want business. So basically they just turned on businesses,
That's interesting. That's real insightful. What I was thinking, like when you said something about tagging, like, so do you got like a little team, little networking team? Or, I know you say you'll tag your most people with the most friends or whatever on your page or whatever, but do you have like a little army of, hey, when I put up this, you automatically got, 4 or 5 people they gonna tag, they gonna share, kind of get, or is it just purely organic?
Now, Team Micah Stevens, for fashion, I tag like my ultimate dream team. I'll tag my models, and people share. Especially if it's something like a designer's call or whatever. You'll see that thing just, boop, 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 they just start. Oh, I know a designer, so people just start catching on. You only need like a couple people, and their friends start tagging, and it just starts going. And you go and put in different groups. Like fashion groups, I'll put things in that, or for the music, I'll put things in like different music groups, different business groups. So you have to belong to some groups, and you also have to participate on other people's posts, because when yours come up, you see it's just, oh, anybody say nothing? No, because you didn't say anything. But there's also some groups where nothing moves in that group. So you have to pay attention, because some groups, they're groups and they have maybe 30,000 people, but how many people do you see interacting in that group? You see 15. So I see the same 15 people out of a 30,000 person group. So you already know you're not going to get anything. Now for business, I posted in several groups that the people were West Coast. And I made this post, and as soon as I put the button down, it just, and I was like, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to respond.
It was a lot more
right. Yeah, it was 5 o'clock here. Well, maybe a little earlier. But on the West Coast, it was earlier. So
here, right.
Fresh, fresh and ready. So, like, I wasn't ready yet. I just put it out there. So I learned how to schedule the post instead of just putting them up, like I wasn't ready yet. So that was a good problem. Don't get me wrong, it was a good problem. So
that's awesome.
Facebook, I really like Facebook, even though they changed their algorithm. And there's some nice stuff you can do with Facebook. So I would say use it. Don't just post it on your page and share it with that person and think that you're going to get some traction, and that they're using the bots now in the messenger. So you have to be on it, because everything you see somebody else do, you think they're a big company. They're actually you and I, like, this is my home office, they're actually sitting in their home office, but they look big because they're using the stuff that Facebook has.
Yeah. Well, they say perception is reality, right? It's not, that's what's real. Now I want to piggyback to the business side, since you mentioned that. Now, do you use LinkedIn for your business stuff? Because I know you say you do some business consulting. Have you been able
Yeah.
to leverage that?
I'm not getting ready to lie. I have a profile on LinkedIn.
Okay.
I have not yet come to know how to effectively use LinkedIn. So I'm gonna have to get some books or something, or
Yeah.
take somebody's course on how to do that. Better yet, I think I better just consult LinkedIn, because most social media, if they have business components to it, they show you how to use it for your business, like putting up a business page outside of your personal page for LinkedIn, putting up like a Micah Stevens business page on LinkedIn, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, once you mentioned the Facebook groups, that's what made me think about it. And I got a profile up, and I'm just optimizing my stuff as well. But of course, I guess you got more access. I just got a regular profile, but if you get like the premium profile, like they actually have groups and stuff there too, kind of like what you were saying, like with Facebook and stuff like that. But I was just thinking, with with your consulting thing like that, that may be a good avenue for you to attract, on that business side. So that may be something.
Yes, I'm gonna have to do that, because I get so many hits of people coming at me. I'm like, but I already do that. So because I also do life insurance. So like, hey, I do a lot of everything. So I have to put it out there.
So how do you? Now I know you was telling me how you broke up your day, but do you break up your week? Do you have like, hey, this is the Divas Treasure Chest, Wednesday, and this is, how do you keep
Stuff
everything?
like this. I have like planners out the wazoo.
Okay.
And it's basically they're my to-do list, and I color code them. Like today was anything Micah Stevens is purple. Anything status elevation solutions is in yellow. Swank one is in pink, and let's see, it's something else. The daycare is in blue, and I'm sad to say it, my travel agency is in green.
Okay.
I'm trying not to ring all that stuff out, but it's in, I have different things, and I try to just, okay, this is what I want to accomplish for this month. Let's break this down per day. This is what I'm going to do this day, and this day. So I have like the weekends are made for the things that I didn't get finished during the week.
Okay. So how about this? What's your biggest challenge juggling, so many, wearing so many hats? What's your biggest challenge?
Right now, my biggest challenge is time, because I am like a full-time worker, director at my mom's daycare. I run that for her. So that's it. I need to delegate more. I'm in the process of hiring a whole virtual team. I liked it before when I tried it, so I have a virtual team that helps me with the majority of the things that I need to get done. Like I said, my biggest problem is delegation, because it takes away from the warm and fuzzy when you put so many people between you and the customer.
Right.
But there's like little stuff that I need. Like I had a virtual assistant for just internet promotion, and I loved it. I actually use taskeveryday.com, and no, Facebook and Task Every Day aren't paying me, but they should.
Okay.
I plug them. It's a company that was on CNN. They're virtual assistants. They're from the Philippines and India, and they all have like degrees or certifications in whatever area you need them in.
Okay.
So it was real effective for me, and I liked it. I got my money's worth. It was cheaper than actually hiring somebody here, to do it for me. And I had them for 20 hours a week.
Gotcha.
So
wow. Okay.
I'm gonna get a whole back office full of task everyday people to do different things, because you actually need extra hands to grow. And people are always saying, well, I'm a solopreneur. That's true, but you don't have to operate like that. There's a lot of people that operate using virtual assistants. And the thing I like about a virtual assistant, or whether they work with the company or they work for themselves, is they don't want to lose your business. So they're going to do the work. if you hire an employee, you might get an employee that don't do shit.
Right, right.
You know, and they, oh, I'm getting paid anyway. But when your livelihood is dependent on that customer, you know, they're going to do the work for you because they don't want to lose you. So I found that outsourcing to other small businesses, or, you know, either a company with virtual assistants there, it's pretty good because you don't have to worry about a lot of things, like people not showing up.
Gotcha, gotcha. So what's next for you? What's the next, like you was talking about growth, expansion. What's next for your vision? Like, what do you see yourself, doing this next year?
This next year, well, I am launching my clothing, my lingerie, my denim. So that's like the near future. I would like to expand on my Micah Stevens Fashion Week a little more. So we do have 4 days of activities planned already, but we would like to take it to a total of 7 days.
Okay.
Our first year we did 3 days. I think we did a whole 3 events for the week, but we want to do a little more and community participation. One of the things we want to do is to reach out and work with local boutiques and local mom and pop retail shops to be a part of Fashion Week. So we're working on that too, to, bring people into them, to spotlight, okay, we got this boutique here, that store, and drive traffic to them so that they can actually make a little more money.
So give them a shout out, for just in case whoever watches, where you at locally, where, so we can get these churches and mom and pop shops in your area.
We'll be out on the street, going business to business to get at them. We'll do some collaborations with some people. My biggest collaborator though is Jackie Bertolet. She's just as bad as me as far as businesses, but she has a fashion empire. She has a magazine, Hot Ohio magazine.
Okay.
Ohio's only high fashion magazine. She produces Ohio Fashion Week. She has a clothing line, RJ Luna Dreamwear, and she also manages and promotes models. So, she does photography. She's like the best editorial photographer in the state of Ohio, Midwest, or whatever. But that's the person I collaborate with the most. I like her because she has high expectations for her business, and as well as anybody that she works with. She has a high level of integrity, and she don't take no shit. So, I like her.
Got you. Okay. Awesome. Now I'm gonna squeeze in one little question before I let you go. In terms of you juggling a lot, so how does that affect your personal life? How does it affect your dating life and stuff like that? How do you pull that?
Well, he's busy too because he's a serial. He's a serial. He successfully has a couple businesses. I'm gonna say 3. I think 3. So we actually plot out, okay, look, this is my schedule. This is what we're going to do this weekend, that weekend, whatever. And then during the week, we're texting, okay, I'm off. You off yet? So we just fit it in. I think because only if you have that type of schedule, are you going to appreciate somebody else with one, so dating is not hard for us, because we already know, okay, this is what's going on. And we talk all the time. We just communicate a lot about different things, and we bounce ideas off of each other. We have been friends before, and so, he already knew what it was, I already knew what it was, and it just so happened that we hooked up like that. But yeah, because I was like, well, how come you can't keep no woman? It's like my life. I was like, so when he said his lifestyle, I was like, what you mean your lifestyle? He said, well, it's not a problem to you because you got that lifestyle too. So, I was just like, you just have to figure in your family time or whatever. And at some point in the day, your business has to stop because you have kids, you have parents, you have, your male man or your woman. You got to get it in, somewhere, and there else everybody gonna be mad at you throwing rocks. So
Right.
You do. And a lot of my stuff I'm able to incorporate my kids into because they want to learn and they want to learn the business. So that's the best part about being an entrepreneur. You can teach your kids.
Awesome. So if there's one jewel or two jewels that you want to leave with the, early stage entrepreneurs and under research on what insight would you leave with them?
Don't wait to try to get it perfect. Go ahead and work your plan as it is and perfect it as you go along. Because if you stay in the planning stage 10 years, that's 10 years you're behind, and I learned that the hard way. So just if you have an idea, just get out there and start it. You'll get better at it as it goes along. Nobody's asking you to be perfect. Nobody even knows that you messed up. You're the only one knows that it wasn't the way you intended. So just do it.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you once again. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the insight that you provided. Thank you so much, and I wish you continue.
Thanks for having me. Sorry I was long-winded.
Oh no, that's awesome. Good stuff, Tracy.
Sometimes I get off topic and I go all the way around the world, come back.
No, you did good. You gave some good info. I feel like somebody that's interested will walk away with something. The goal is for somebody to walk away. I want to kind of create a online community to where we can kind of be that nexus where people come. We be what we need and be what we needed. You see what I'm saying? Because for so often we don't have that understanding mate. We don't have the support group. We don't have people who get it. Well, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And so like when you said, I'm willing to lose everything for everything, that was powerful to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I walked away from jobs.
I've done it. So
I walked away from jobs and people like, why don't you just do that? I was like, look, I'm just, hey, my kids growing up, I got to bank on me. I got to invest in me. I got to go for what I know I'm capable of and what I know the life that I deserve. I got this big, aspirations, and I know I can live up to them. And I see far too many dumber, less characteristic, less charismatic people
all the time.
I see it all the time. They talk like robots. They're like, this dude making 8 figures a year, So part of it is having the confidence and figuring out a strategy. Because a lot of times it's not resources like we think. It's a strategy. A lot of times we don't have the right strategy in place.
It's a strategy. And the one thing we got to understand is we got to quit being the enemy of each other. I'm not buying that pair of shoes from her because I want a better pair. My pair is $100. The other person's pair is $200, same shoe. But that's a better pair because it costs more, or you just don't want to give me the money. She thinks she cute today. No, you must think I'm cute today because I didn't tell you that, or I don't like her attitude. Okay, it wasn't my attitude that I said that I wasn't going to discount the price. I have bills too. You don't go into the mall to negotiate. So we have to stop expecting us to give a discount when we don't expect that from somebody else. And I think that's because we, as a whole, the Black community, some of us know what it is. Some of us are, they still wanting that $5 holler and stuff when you have bills. Why would I give him $5 for that? I can go over there and get it for $5. Okay, but you weren't going to negotiate with the other person, but you want to negotiate with
Walmart is worth billions. You ain't negotiating with Walmart.
Never. And Walmart can spare it. You know what I'm saying?
Right, that's what I'm saying. They worth billions. Right. They got big boy money.
I do business with you, and because I'm Black, I get some substandard business, but you give it to the next person, you give them what they pay for, but I get some other. I went through that with getting some remodeling done on the building, and it was crazy. I was like, well, no, this is not finished, Had a week to do the job and still job wasn't done. I had to go get somebody else to finish. But it's just, you just can't do that. So we're our own worst enemy as a community, and as people, we stand in our own way. It's like, okay, I don't want to go without this, whatever, these Jordans or these LeBrons. My kids got to wear this and that. when I should be investing into my business so they can have mutual funds and everything. Our priorities are wrong. Because, you know, if I'm going to pay $300 for some shoes, I'd go take $100 for the shoes and put the other 200 in a mutual fund or something so I can buy more shoes later, you know, have something down the road. So it's just a matter of where your priorities is. Some of our priorities are messed up and how we treat each other.
So what do you think? What do you think we can do? Do you think it's a do you think it's an education thing? Do you think it's a cultural?
It's definitely an education thing.
So, so maybe, we need to get to the kids while they're younger and they're more impressionable and things like that. I done said it ad nauseum about, us not practicing teamism. Like, rather, no matter who you're talking about, whether it's Kobe, whether it's Jordan, LeBron, the key people, you got to have a good supporting cast. And
Yes.
a lot of times we have to be a solopreneur because a lot of times we using the people that surround us instead of the people that we may actually need. So
Right.
I know when you was talking about like delegation, I can relate to that because sometimes, I don't want to delegate because I don't have the right supporting cast. Yeah, he'll do it because, I'm cool, we grew up or whatever, but he don't really have the vision, don't share the vision. And then because we cool, like I've had people volunteer for me, right? Well, hey, I'll make your website, but you want to make the website the way you want to make it. See? So now I'm like, well, I just can't have people because you know what I'm saying? How I'm going to complain? Hey, I did it. You know what I'm saying? I did it for free. Yeah, you did it for free, but you did it the way you wanted it versus the way I wanted it. So, and I realized, well, this is the challenge because sometimes with your brain children, your business are your brain children,
Right.
just like my books, right? So, hey, I want it like this. And then if somebody change it, well, I'll do your book cover for you, but I'm going to do it like this. So now it becomes our thing because they're volunteering. Whereas if you paying, like even if it's somebody in the Philippines or, Bosnia, wherever, Albania, hey, you're going to do it the way I want to, or
Right.
I'm going to pull the plug on this. So to put ourselves in that position where we got the ability to actually have a qualified and willing to adhere to your visions. And that's the challenge too, because I think sometimes people, they take it as a personal slight because you think this big. Like you got like all kind of business, hey, I'm dealing with commercial real estate. I'm dealing with, insurance. I'm dealing with fashion. I'm dealing with, entertainment. I'm dealing with travel. That's a lot. And most people feel like, well, I can't handle that. And I think that's why a lot of times people tell you, well, just focus on this because they can't focus on 3-4 things.
That's true. But all of my business tend to feed the other one. They feed the other one. I only do travel because I wanted to give events abroad, and I had asked a travel agent to do some things, and she didn't do it. So I was like, well, shoot, let me go ahead and do this. So that's how that came out. It wasn't like I wanted to just, I want to be a travel agent. That's not how it came up. But, you get things where for me anyway, if I can't get somebody to do it, I just create that mess. And like you said, sometimes we don't use people outside of our circle. You have to go outside your circle because I know for Micah Stevens Fashion Week, the majority of the support I got was from outside of Akron. It's crazy because I know that people in Akron attend fashion shows.
Yes. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties, but just to wrap up what Tracy was saying was the fact that a lot of times we don't support each other, either locally or culturally. Sometimes in our communities, we don't always get the support from each other. So I was just saying briefly the importance of let's support each other. So if we on Facebook, we want people to share our content. What do it cost to share? Take a second, share, tag other people. So let us be the bridge that we need. Let us start taking a few seconds. Hey, somebody sharing a product or a service, especially if you know them and you know it's a good product and service. hey, go ahead. What do it take to share it on your Facebook? Engage, tag people, tag each other, and let us support each other. Let's help us get the word out for each other. Let's be a little curious about each other and say, hey, she doing it, he doing it, and maybe I want to do it. So if you thought this interview was useful, please consider subscribing. Thank you for checking me out, and I'll be reaching out for more people to do interviews with. Primary goal is to pre-record them, and so I can edit them or something, because we do them on Zoom, and sometimes we have technical difficulties. This will help me give a more better quality, more stable quality, and then this way I can upload on a more consistent basis versus randomly trying to catch up and coordinate different people's schedules. Sometimes it's not always easy to align our schedules. So if you are somebody that want to do an interview, please leave a comment or hit me up on Facebook or LinkedIn. You can just look down in the description box and click on any of those things to find me. Let me know if you want to be interviewed. Let me know, you want to share your journey, because we want to build a bridge. We really want to build a platform here, a one-stop shop for all things essential for entrepreneurship. All right, thank you for your time. I'm JP Watkins, and this is Personal Gov. Take care. Stay blessed. Stay focused.